Rich Mentality versus Poor Mentality. Robert Kiyosaki Interview Part 1. Why save money when they're printing quadrillions of dollars? That gap between the 1% rich and the 99% poor is gigantic. You see, it's not just about money. You have to stop and look at the world outlook. In each one of us, there is a poor person. There is even a poor person inside me. There is also a middle-class person who wants some security and a fixed salary. But there is also a rich person inside me. All these people are living together inside us, inside our mind. What happens is that nobody teaches us. They do teach you to go to school, get a job, and get a paycheck. But nobody teaches you how to become rich. When you have read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which means something like your rich conscience and your poor conscience, you will know that my rich dad, that is my rich conscience, always refused to pay me anything. He claimed that the payment of a check was one of the most detrimental things you could receive. He will say, the moment you receive a check payment, you're an employee. That's a mentality. So my rich dad never paid me. It drove my poor dad crazy, a government employee who thought you have to pay people. My rich dad didn't say that pay was a bad thing, but that we shouldn't be enslaved to it. So, as an entrepreneur, if the rich dad retires, I simply go into another business. But I don't require a check. I don't require someone to take care of me. If my government doesn't want me, I'll move to a different country, because entrepreneurs are always needed. It's just that you will always need that kind of mentality. You see, small companies don't operate by the same rules as big companies. First of all, being an entrepreneur is a mindset, a set of rules and skills. And depending on the type of company, the rules are different. The mindset and the skills are different. I tell you about my last pay I received. I say all of this for those who are thinking about taking their first leap into the world of entrepreneurship. My last paycheck, I remember as one of the worst and at the same time best day of my life. I was in Puerto Rico and I was working for Xerox when I received my last check. It was a bonus, not a regular paycheck, about $35,000. I received the money and told the boss, "Wow, do you know what this last check means?" I was excited and disturbed at the same time. Then a fellow by the name of John came up to me and said, "You're coming back." I said, "Why?" And he replied, "Because you're going to fail." I looked at him and said something rude because that's what he did. He left Xerox, failed, and came back. I said, "You failed and came back, but if I'm going to fail, I'm never coming back." That's the attitude. If you say, "Well, if I fail, I will go back to mom and dad," that's what you will do. So when you fail is when you really become an entrepreneur. I had no money for many years. I didn't have any salary, but that's what my rich dad's conscience encouraged me to do. When you don't have any secure income, you become hungrier and smarter, and you test yourself. Will you become a thief? Dishonest? Will you lie and steal? Or will you become a better human being? That is the great advantage of becoming an entrepreneur. You truly discover who you are when you have nothing. So you always have to have a global vision. A lot of people have it, and they do great. When you take a good look at the big picture, you know that when something bad happens, something good comes after it. But you have to prepare for what's coming up. If you think that the next 20 years are going to be like the last 20 years, you're going to crash. When we go to the supermarket and buy a liter of milk, we always check the expiration date, but the vast majority of people do not check the expiration date of their brains. Instead of paying off debts, I get deeper and deeper into debt. I just refinanced $350 million. I managed to go from 5% interest to half that, 2.5%. Every month, I get more money because the interest rate has gone down. So while some financial experts say, get out of debt, I say, learn to use debt.